Hi, Amanda. It's Thursday, close to 5 p.m., and I wanted to talk to you today. It's been a couple days since I made a video, and I miss talking to you. I always enjoy it, and I always enjoy thinking of you on the other side. And last night was really a nice night for us. I enjoyed being with you together in EverQuest. It's nice to change it up sometimes, and I like the vibes. I like the memories, and I like being with you. You were really good to me last night, like we talked about today while you're at work. You gave me a very special I guess at the end of the night, you connected to me very especially. It's hard to explain, but you basically gave me your magic in ways that you might not understand, but it's very profound. So it was special. It was very magical, and it was humbling, and affected me deeply. And I really appreciate all that you are. So that's not why I made the video, but of course I can't just not mention it. I mean, you're so sweet and so special, beyond my ability to tell you, beyond your ability to hear it and to comprehend it. That's what you are, Amanda. So, I'm going to be working this weekend, so maybe you'll get a chance to watch this then. And I think a lot during the days when we're not together, and even when we are together. I know we're apart for now, but I would really like to do things with you whatever we can do. And I guess these videos are the main form of me being able to do that. I can't really figure out other ways, for the most part, of us doing some kind of activity together besides maybe playing EverQuest. I mean, you have so much going on in your life. Every day we spend together, you're at work, with the occasion of a couple hours when I have to work, that we can spend out together. So it's not like I expect us to really manage to do anything together. I mean, you need to rest after work. We don't spend days off together, and even if we did, I wouldn't expect you to want to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, we both want to do something. If we both want to do something, we'll do it. So I guess with those limitations, between work and the distance and both of our desires lining up equally, it's rare that we actually get to do an activity together. Like, we can't really watch something together. We can't really read something together. We can't really talk to each other. Well, not in the ways that you like to, at least. Like, you prefer the full experience. We can't really do a lot together from a distance. So I think about it a lot, and so I'll try to bring it to you in the videos. It'll be the closest that we can get until we can be together. It's just I have this continual urge to share with you experiences, and I know that's going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to actually accomplish without us being together, due to all the things I just mentioned. So the one thing is the flashcards. That's something that's maybe a little something that can add to us sharing. I think the reading might be a little too complicated for now, but if you ever want that, it can happen. Like at least the novels and stuff, and even these like flashcards, I don't really want to overdo it to the point where the videos get tedious and boring. So I'm just going to do a few of these real quick, just because it'll give us something to talk about too. I can quiz you, pop quizzes, and you'll just be like, I don't remember anything. I was just looking at you and didn't remember anything. But so, like, to answer okay, as in that's okay, kind of like good, like in Italian, it's va bene. So, like, the translation isn't direct, obviously. Va bene means, oh, what does va mean? I don't remember. It's another one I have to look up. So I'll report back next video with what va means. It says it's an interjunction. So va bene. So the adjective for final or the last of something would be ultimo. Ultimo, like the ultimate ultimo. So we had okay, va bene, last, ultimo. Is that enough for a video? I don't know how many you can handle at once. You have to let me know what you think, or if you've even remembered anything at all. Is this really just too much? You have to be honest with me. Let's do one more. So, this is a verb to put up, to place something somewhere, is metero, or metera. I think it's metera. I don't think it would be metera. I think could be metera. So I'm a terrible teacher. I think we both will fail horribly. But the Italians are good-spirited people. It's really us trying. We'll please them. So metera, I think it would be metera. So va bene, ultimo, and metera. Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll report back, I promise. So I was thinking, like I said earlier, I really like sharing things. I mean, obviously I share my feelings more than anything, but like I said, you're going to end up with hundreds of videos that are exactly the same. And I know that for the most part you like just seeing how I'm doing. That's one reason I like to make the videos, so you always know where I'm at. You can see in my eyes, see in my tone of voice how I'm doing, that I'm surviving the distance, and just keep everything fresh. No wonders, no worries. I like to just come to you and let you know all that, but I thought I'd share something new. It's another reading book thing, so this video might get a little long. But when I was working for my grandfather, I went to a farmer's market in northern Pennsylvania near where my mother and grandfather lived. He lived a little south of my mom, like 45 minutes away. And there was a farmer's market that my grandfather sold his cheese at that he made. He made like a natural, healthier cheese that's not as hard on the body. It's a different style of cheese. I know you wouldn't like it anyways, but he wanted to keep people from getting sick, and he spent like the second half of his life basically doing that, teaching people how to live healthier. He made it to 87. I mean, he could have made it further, but he had an addiction to ice cream in his late years. I can tell you more about that if you want. I like telling you stories. And he ended up with kidney disease. I think he started eating it more and more often at the end. He did cure himself of cancer. He must have been in his 60s when that happened, maybe 70s, but I think it was 60s. Probably even early to mid 60s. He almost died of hairy cell leukemia and got pneumonia. I think I've told you the story, and when we read the book, his book that he wrote, assuming you want to read it, it might cover some of that story. And he cured it without any Western cancer treatments. Completely cured it from his system. Hairy cell leukemia is a pretty serious one too. That was my inspiration and introduction to natural healing. At the time, I was an ignorant American and thinking he was crazy for not accepting a doctor's advice. And who is he to not listen to the doctors? But it's one thing you learn about me is that I listen to personal experiences which are considered unscientific and unprovable, but we can talk stories and stuff whenever you want. Maybe, I don't know. I wish I had more stories about Arlene. She was such a sweet lady. She reminds me a lot. Well, you remind me of how sweet she was, but you're even sweeter. And definitely special. Sorry, Arlene, but Mandy's more special. Sorry, Grandma. Anyway, so this book right here, this one's kind of old. I didn't look. I kind of branched off from that story. So I worked at this farm market from like once a week. Okay. Once a week. It's a nice market. It had like all kinds of like some farmers, some produce vendors, like buy or sell from all around the country. So it wasn't just local, but they had like apple orchards, a few farmers, and I liked going there. A lot of people made fun of me because I always was reading books and not talking to anyone. I was really strange. So some of the other vendors that were younger would make fun of me a little bit, but I didn't mind too much. I just didn't talk to anybody. And I liked walking around the market. I got a few things there a couple times. And this one guy, he just bought and sold things. Everyone seemed to have their own like specialty. Like this guy, he liked to deal with books. And he always would get these like coffee table books. Like this is a Reader's Digest, 1964, Marvels and Mysteries of Our Animal World. And I have like I would buy them from him like every week or two. I'd pick one out, like an old one. I like to read about the world. I like to read about places and things and cultures and nature and all that stuff. So I was attracted to this. I was probably like 21, 22 years old, working for my grandfather. I was attracted to these books, and I liked to just look through them, and it's not something you have to read front to back. And I was like, well, if you visit me, you're going to see some of these in my bookshelf. If I move away, I might get rid of some of them unless you think you'd like to look at some with me. I may have gotten rid of some already. I'm not sure. I gave away a bunch of books a couple years ago. Anyways, I'll get to the point. I was flipping through this book and I was like, I'd really like to just share something different with Mandy today. And so I was flipping through and I was like reading about different animals, like skimming through. And I was reading about the elephants. I thought the elephants sounded pretty cool. They have a couple page write up on elephants. And then this one made me chuckle, so I thought I would read this one instead. It's the rhinoceros. The rhinos. So look at that guy, or gal. So I don't know, I didn't read through this whole thing. I figured I'd read it mostly for the first time. I read the first couple paragraphs. So I'll go ahead and get started because this video is going to get really long. So, it starts off with a story, and I like stories, so this will be good. I like true stories that are worth telling. That's what I like. Some fictional stories can be okay, it depends. So here we go. A train rumbling along the tracks in Kenya came to a sudden crashing stop, then plunged off the rails. While the stunned passengers crawled out, the cause of it all shook herself and calmly walked away. The train had been derailed by the charge of an angry lady rhinoceros. By this surprising feat, she proved not only the savage power in her 2-ton bulk, but also the right of the mighty rhino to be called the most temperamental beast on Earth, a distinction shared by male and female alike. Sometimes friendly and docile, these ponderous denizens of Africa, second largest land animal in the world, will for no apparent reason go into a mad charge, hurling themselves against anything momentarily considered an enemy. Rhinos have thus attacked trucks, bands of elephants, and even, on one occasion, an artillery detachment, upsetting and trampling field guns. It's like, fuck your guns. That's hilarious. It's like, I don't like it. For sheer all-around ugliness, the rhino is unsurpassed by any other beast. His hideous face, outlandish horns, rough skin, and ungainly body, too big for his tiny feet, make him seem to belong among the monstrosities from Earth's biological past. Nature appears to have slipped up badly in designing the rhino's skin, which looks as if it had been cast off from some still larger creature, for it hangs in great sagging folds. The rhinoceros is equipped with a most fearsome weapon, a large central horn. This anatomical marvel reaches awesome proportions. The record horn of a black rhino actually measures 53.5 inches, and a white rhino topped even that with a horn that was 5 feet long. That would be 60 inches. A rhino's horn does not grow out of his skull, but out of his scalp. And oddly enough, it is not made of bone, but of tightly compressed hairs. Nevertheless, it is hard enough to remain unbroken even in a charge against a solid object. Surprisingly, though, the horn has an odd weakness. If a bullet hits it, the rhino goes down, knocked out cold for a few seconds. Zoologists explain that such a hard, sharp blow is transmitted directly to his brain with the resultant knockout. Harder but less sharp blows are somehow absorbed by the horn. Though it is his most effective weapon, the rhino's horn has led to the near extinction of the breed. For this curious feature has, over the centuries, been credited with marvelous medicinal powers. European monarchs once prized it when made into a drinking cup, since they believed it would ward off the effects of poisons. For all his massive build and great weight, the rhino is surprisingly agile, and his speed together with his wicked horn would make him a formidable opponent, even if he behaved like other beasts, which he doesn't. For hours, the leaf-eating rhino will graze peacefully, then with no warning, and without visible provocation, Provocation. He will suddenly charge a zebra or a giraffe with which he has just been on the best of terms. If this quarry gets away, he may turn upon any other that happens to be within reach. Such a sudden rhino attack looks like an explosion, as animals scatter wildly in all directions. A few hours later, they may drift back together again, and the rhino will move peaceably among them, showing no signs of his former belligerence. Many experts agree that nothing is so likely to send a rhino into a charge as to have something get between him and a waterhole. Hunters have seen thirsty rhinos lunge into herds of elephants when they stood in the way. A bull rhino is a fearsome pursuer, but a mother rhino may be worse. The mother tends her baby with unusual affection long after he is perfectly capable of fending for himself. If any danger, real or fancied, appears, she hurries to put herself between it and her offspring. With total disregard for consequences, she will charge any menace. The rhino's most startling display of prima donna temperament often is shown after he has begun a charge. Scientists and hunters have reported rhinos driven off by tossed stones or the beam of a flashlight. One rhino charging a man suddenly stopped and stood pawing the ground in front of a large bush. Lowering his head, the animal charged the bush and trampled it underfoot. After looking at it blearily for a moment, he trotted off with the air of a conqueror. Almost beyond explanation is the curious behavior of a rhino chasing a hunter whose gun and gun bearer were nowhere in sight. Suddenly, the earth-shaking sounds of pursuit ceased, and the hunter, hiding behind a bush, stole a glance, then stared in disbelief. His mighty pursuer stood stock still, head drooping, sound asleep. So they sound like a pretty entertaining animal to learn about. I was not aware of a few of those little tidbits of them just charging at random, just having hissy fits basically, and falling asleep whenever I don't know. Maybe you got a little chuckle out of one of those stories, I don't know. Seemed to be the most entertaining one I read so far, but it was cute. So, I don't know how long the video is. I'm sure it's longer than normal though, so I think I should wrap it up. But I'm getting better at this, Mandy. You may have noticed when we say goodnight and when we talk on the phone and when I say goodbye in the videos, I do stall a little bit, but not as badly. So hopefully it's reassuring. It's still not easy, but I'm always looking at the future, and I'm looking at everywhere we need to go before we're together, and I realize a lot of things. I try to keep things livable and realistic, and I try to be considerate. I'm trying my best. I'm always looking at your side and what you might be going through. And I'm trying to not be selfish with what I'm going through. I can survive. So I'm in this for a long time, Mandy. I know that there's many months between now and when we meet. And then potentially a year or two, for next steps. But I'm leaving you in charge there. It's all on your balls in your court, basically. I'm we're together. I know we're together. And I'm by your side as you make your decisions and all that. I want you to feel comfortable. I really do. That's why I'll tell you where I'm at, just so that you can make your decisions. How you need to make them. As long as you know where I am. Just remember that you're beautiful. I don't know if you understand it, but you are. There's more I was going to talk about tonight, but it'll have to be another video if I remember it. I'm always thinking of you so much. Always. And you'll know. Someday. You'll know what this is all about. I'm sure you do somewhat. So, I guess I'll say goodbye for now, Mandy. Thanks for spending this time with me. Thanks for staying with me. And don't forget how special you are. Don't forget how I care about you. Never forget that you're so special. Alright, Mandy. We'll talk again soon. I care about you, baby. I'll see you. I see you, beautiful Amanda. I'll see you soon. See ya.